Okay guys, delighted to be back with our great friend Martin Chuck.
Awesome to be with you guys.
Mike Martisevich. We are talking about today about speed. You've got many Tour Striker devices, you've got all sorts of technology in your lab back home, you've got gears, you've got your swing catalyst, you've got your foresight. So you've extracted a ton of research on just about anything related to golf performance.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about speed. The one thing everyone wants more of.
Everybody does.
Everyone wants a
I
little
do.
bit of speed. I do as well. I've worked on it. I know you were doing some stuff. You were chatting with Mark Crossfield and Andrew Rice. And we're talking about creeping up the speed ladder.
And I would say Mark was the winner. I finished top 5 in that group. There was only 3.
Yeah, exactly.
I was top 5 though.
So Mikey boy is always looking for a little more speed.
Always.
You are very efficient with your golf swing. You're a good golfer. You're 2 handicap, but 100 mile an hour is where you've been kind of flatlined. You've plateaued. You've hit that glass ceiling, and you want to try and explore some ways to bust through that.
Totally.
Okay.
And to be fair, there's 0 wrong with playing golf at 100 miles an hour. If you look at, who's a pretty darn good golfer at 100 miles an hour? A guy named Bernard Longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can go shoot 60 something and whip the snot out of. My buddy Darren Clark, you can still get 180 ball speeds.
That's right.
So you don't have to be that fast, but we don't want to leave it on the table.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's what we don't want to leave it on the table. So let's see what we find on the table for you.
Love
How
it.
about that?
Excited.
Let's baseline a few.
Yeah.
We've got the quad, we've got the dots set up, because I think one of the things we'll see with Mikey is the strike can sometimes rob him of some speed as well, some of the ball speed. So it can get a little heely. So we're going to be monitoring that on the quad as well. But let's see what kind of forces we can push upon, which buttons we can press to get some more out.
Let's do it.
Okay, lovely golf hole. 11 west here at the pulpit. Little dog leg, right to left. You've got tons of space on the right. I know that's been your miss recently.
Yeah.
The high heel miss to the right is what you've been struggling with, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the scary side of the golf course. It doesn't put me in trouble. It's just it robs you of distance, and you have a longer club coming into the greens. So.
Yeah, and as you try to advance and play competitively, that's where your need for distance is coming from, isn't it? You want to be playing at a higher level. We know the correlation. We keep getting the stats thrown at us with, better players swing faster, right? That correlation is speed. In a lot of cases is
think about the forgiveness on the second shot. If you do, hitting driver, it's funny, everybody says, well, it's a tight hole, I'm going to hit a 2-iron. That doesn't mean you're going to hit a 2-iron straight.
Yeah.
Right? But you're going to hit a driver farther. So the forgiveness of a shorter iron into a green is always better than a
100%.
Stronger lofted club coming into your green. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
So they always pick out that, well, the one girl on the LPGA Tour can hit hybrid super close. I'm like, give me a pitching wedge. Let's have a battle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll take our chances.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see a few, Mikey.
Okay.
So nice playable one. This is a little necky again.
A little necky, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like all day. Center stripe,
Okay.
but kind of how it gets there,
Yeah.
right?
So
98.5.
what did we launch at? Just curious. A little low.
5, yeah.
7.5.
Low
5.
heel it felt.
Okay. So that's hit, right? So that's the.
Got the launch up. Spin was much better than Mikey.
Yeah, better strike in the face.
Yeah,
higher.
really nice.
Yeah. So that smash got up to 147.
Yeah.
So that's a nice ball. So low spin, 2100, carried 244, launched much better.
Yeah.
So nice shot there.
Yeah.
Let's hit a couple more. So you say that would be probably on the.
I mean, if you gave me a shot just like that all weekend, I'd take it.
Well, yeah, because if the fairways are decent, that's going to be a 270 ball.
Yeah.
So we had a 98.5 speed, a 98.1.
And that's the thing with Mike. Out the car or after an hour-long warm-up session, it's always the same. It's always 98, 98 to 100. It doesn't really go up. It doesn't really go down.
Yeah.
Right. That's just kind of what he's got in there.
Okay.
Healers.
Let's take a look at that. So what do we have? Path 3.4 out to in.
Yeah. 4
Face
up.
a little bit open. Here's the thing, like those are, I always say there's always this balance between optimizing and functional.
Yeah.
right? Like he's pretty, like the ball kind of goes
Yeah.
in play, like you've said, right?
He can manage his way around a golf course, no problem.
Yeah, and so now you got to be careful what you wish for, because
yeah.
sometimes guys they'll come to me just for speed. They'll say, Martin, help me get faster. And we'll go through things and we'll get them speed, but all of a sudden it'll change how the face is delivered.
Right.
Now they look out there and the ball sometimes misses in a place they're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I do, let's just go down the simplest, or start with the simplest things. Okay, cool. So let's talk about just tee height and impact location. Now, I don't have a can of Dr. Scholl's or just, impact spray, but that's just, for the viewers, just spray powder is the easiest thing. Spray some on. We do this thing at the golf camp called Sweet 5. We want to see if you can kind of just stamp 5 right out the middle of the face with a little bit of thought. And you honestly, when you put a little spray on the club face and your intent is to gather up the ball in a certain spot on the face, and Andrew Rice, our buddy, we'll take a little, we do this together in golf schools, make a little cross right through the sweet spot, and intentionally have people hit low heel, low toe, high toe, higher heel, so they realize that they're sort of in command of their impact location. So George Knudsen, shed some light on this when I was a kid, and it was just fascinating because so many coaches don't know this. But when the ball's played off, up in the air, so there's an elevated golf ball on a peg. When we set this thing, we got to be careful that people will take the icon on the club, whether it's this is a TaylorMade Stealth or whatever it is, and they'll set that visually at the center of the golf ball.
Yeah.
Right now the problem with that is we don't touch the ground with the driver.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we're going to swing this thing an inch and a half above the ground. And one, I would say I would tee your golf ball up a tick.
Okay.
Right, a half an inch. And then the other thing is when you come in to set into this, get just a little farther away from your work. Let's test this first to where you can kind of build the radius of your swing on the sweet spot. Take a look, settle in. Then if I rest the club down, see where the club rested?
Yeah.
Very toey.
Yeah.
Right, that freaks people out. But if they set this up, if I knock the ball off for a second, if I set the center of the club head behind the center of the tee, and then this elevates to where we're going to hit a ball, that's heel all day.
Yeah.
And this is what's funny too, Ian, is people, what do they want to, they go to golf school, what do they want to be? They want to become more consistent.
Yeah.
This guy is like the picture of consistency.
Captain consistency.
Right?
Yep.
But you don't really want to be consistent. You want a mild change, don't you?
Totally.
You see my point?
Yeah.
Because your numbers you're putting up, 98 point something path, 3.4 out to in. You've been 3 point something out to in, fade bias on the 5 balls we've watched.
Yeah.
Okay? So safe to say that it's going to be maybe a little bit more invasive to get this to change a little.
Yeah.
Okay, now have you hit one hook yet?
No.
And what shot scares the daylights out of you?
Yeah, hook.
See, so you're actually hitting shots that don't make you throw up, but aren't exactly that savory either.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got to make a bit of a, so we've talked about hit one more, being a little bit more mindful of your radius, getting the elevated sweet spot on the ball.
Necky. Low neck.
Yep.
Okay, low necky again. Okay, give me one more.
Okay.
Okay, so
High.
so that was a little higher in the face. Okay, but we've got to change. So I'm looking for, when somebody hits it in the neck, I'm looking for a couple things. Are they taking their body mass and shifting their whole swing to where it gets a sweet spot on the ball differently?
Yep.
You don't do that.
Right, okay.
Okay, so your situation, again, we're dealing with a kind of a grip attachment condition where things are turned and a little bit on the strong side, comes back, and now it's a little steep, and then your fix is this kind of handle raise, and here you're out to in. Here's your out to in.
Yeah.
So see how when I go thumb down, that club head is going toward me. So this isn't an over the top swing.
No.
It's the machine recognizes what happens toward the impact interval, and so your out to in behavior is something that happens in this condition.
Right.
You with me?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a minor condition. Now, what I want you to come over here and understand is input versus output. So if I take my arm and I make this motion, I have got a little bit of lead arm input, right? Not much. And if I put a golf club in here, now I start to rotate this, I've got a very stable face with a rate of closure, opening and closing, okay? But how about if I did this? How about if I took the club and I put it in alignment and then I just rotated? Now I got all kinds of randomness down
Totally.
here. What I'd love to introduce to you is a little bit of this angle between the lead arm and the shaft and how this can stay in a little bit. So see how I'm not going thummy this way?
Yeah.
So with your strong grip, which is fine, I want to encourage you, like in the other segment we did on the range, is let's keep that in place, and let's feel not too different than when we're up here hitting the irons. Can I feel like I can rub the heel of the driver on the ground?
Okay.
You see what I'm doing here?
Yep.
Like purposely give me a little bit lower shaft delivery, and they don't really, do they measure it in foresight? On TrackMan they call it swing plane.
Yeah.
Right. So he's up here at 70
exactly.
something, and I want to get you down here more in the 50s.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, totally.
Yeah. So come on in here.
Okay.
Put your strong grip on.
Okay.
I want you to wear the oxidization off right there instead of there.
Totally. Okay.
Yep. Show me. And you might hook one here and welcome in.
Yeah.
Okay. So just waist high, waist high. Yep. Let's see if you can kind of brush the grass. Make a little scratch on that turf.
Yeah.
Right. Good. Do it again. You're
Okay.
good right there. Okay. And so this is the kind of feel of it. Go for it. Yep. Keep going. Okay. A couple more. See how much more low left that feels?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and put one in play and miss one. You know, I always say hit one or miss one to my students because
Yeah.
I don't expect you to flush it.
Right.
Now give me the radius
Okay.
in the sense of we don't want all this to come out. Let that club, let the feeling of this speed, here's some speed here.
Mm-hmm.
Now I take it down here, I can have speed this way too.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Interesting.
Rather than something that gets, your little cut move is this ulnar deviation back towards you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not an over-the-top golf swing.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so that was
Lovely.
hammered.
Lovely.
I mean, that's low spin murdered.
Yeah.
You know, and so it wasn't even any faster.
No.
Right? So the spin was 2,000.
Yeah.
Right? Like that ball is going to be running like crazy.
Efficiency went up.
Yeah, like it wasn't your best. The one you smoked was 147. That's
Yeah.
145, but quite nice. So you get that feel.
Okay.
Now let's see if we can, get a bit of courage, add a bit of speed to it if we can. Good. And normally I'd never tell people to hit the ground with a
No.
driver, ever. But in your case, I want the toe up, but the heel down.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, and
Yeah.
I want a little bit more of this pronation feeling.
Okay.
Because you got accumulators in the golf swing for
Right.
speed, right? So one of them is this.
Yeah.
Obviously body rotation, obviously how the trail arm pushes. Well, you get yourself in a place where you get so ulnar at the golf ball,
Yeah.
it slows you down a little bit, and you can't really release it.
Right.
Make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. Totally.
And think about that fairway wood, Mikey. Think about that struggle
yeah,
with the
yeah.
fairway wood. If your crutch is to ulnar deviate to get the head to sort of move down that way, no wonder you struggle with the fairway wood. I mean, that where you're rehearsing that, you're grooving low point there perfectly.
Totally.
If you have to ulnar deviate to throw the club head towards the ball, that's why you're such an inconsistent fairway wood player.
Does he have any struggles with the three-wood?
Yeah, some
Okay.
tops in there, a lot of thin
A lot
ones.
of that thin Healy squirter.
Yeah.
I mean, I play it now. You get used to it, but yeah, for sure struggle with the fairway.
So your caddies at band and say, "Oh, just give me the low Healy spinner squirty one in here from
Yeah.
220 with the three-wood."
Yeah,
I
exactly.
got that one.
All right, so give me that. That's the visual.
Okay.
Right, we're not gonna. So if your hands elevate, what do? They're gonna bump into that red.
Yeah.
So
Keep
you're gonna
on
learn.
low.
Yep. Take a look. Put that vision in there and give me and melt one for me. See, I love that, man.
Nice, Mikey.
Like that's out there. Like you and I are kind of pillow fighters in the fact that we're in the low 100s on a good day, but like those are good numbers.
Yeah. The move feels
Like so
like
that spin number, that impact is dead nuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see, like you can't do it much better.
Yeah, it's good.
We're looking at the efficiency that was 139, 140. Your last one was 145, 146.
146, yeah.
Yeah.
We're right on max efficiency. And
Yeah.
this is without you feeling comfortable yet to throw full speed into it.
Right.
Probably feel like you're at 70% right now, just
Yeah.
guiding these
Yeah.
in. But these are super, super efficient numbers. I'm watching your dynamic lie angle as well. When you first started, you were 2 degrees toe up. best players in the world typically are 6, 7, 8, and somewhere in that 6 to 8 region
Yeah.
toe up. Your second last one, when you done it a little bit slower, was 5.1.
Right.
That was your best dynamic angle. A little more toe up, a little bit more neutral with the face.
Yeah.
Perfect for you. You don't want to be throwing it toe down
Right, yeah,
nearly
yeah,
as
yeah.
much.
Right.
Interesting.
So so like you understanding this angle between left arm and shaft, and how this, like this wedge between my aim stick and my lead arm won't completely go away. Like I want you to learn how to turn that corner. And
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
tons of guys doing aim stick in the shaft drills. You can hold it, you can put it in that vent hole of your grip. You know, I don't want that going completely under this
Totally.
way.
Yeah.
I want you to turn the
Turn
corner,
over.
right? That'll get your, I mean, these things are built upright anyway. That's
They
why
are.
the best players always have the toe up when they hit the driver,
Yeah.
which kind of fascinates me, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess they're smarter than I am. They build it that way. But when you're not that tall,
Yeah.
you know, lead into potentially a shot that might want to draw more
Mm-hmm.
with the loft. But mind you, there's not much loft on drivers anyway. So I quite like that. Now, let's see if we can't go well above 100, shall we?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to feel that the handle's moving first, the club head's moving last.
Okay.
So the sensation isn't going to be a behavior from the hands first. It's going to be behavior from the body that moves the, you know, the torso,
Mm-hmm.
shoots down, goes down the arm, moves the grip a little bit. And we're going to get this little bit of help from
Okay.
this club head that's playing catch up in the backswing.
Okay.
Right? So show me that. Come on in. And so quite often I'll ask a student, say, okay, go make a backswing. Ready, go.
Yeah.
And I'll say, why can't you make a backswing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll say, well, your foot's in the way. Right?
Yeah.
And I'll say it's only in the way because your hands are more the source of motion. Because let me have the club,
Okay.
leave your foot there.
Mm-hmm.
So this club is no issue for me, because if my hands aren't the source of motion, just see how that's just a mere speed bump.
Yeah.
But if my hands are the source of motion, now I can't move the club head.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I want you to feel like this behavior, we're rotating with some speed to create some sling. Okay, and you
Okay.
got to be a little reckless with this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so try again. Set the club here. Here's your speed bump, my shoe. Right, that a boy. Good. Do
Yeah,
it again.
nice.
Push and move. That's it.
Interesting.
Okay, I'll move my foot out of the way. Big
Yeah,
swing.
yeah.
Go.
Okay.
See my point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, ready? Do it again. Go. Okay, and now swoosh through. I'm gonna move out of the way. Trust me. Good. So see what's happening there?
Yeah.
See, we're creating a little bit of a whip
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah. Totally.
Let's create that whip backwards. Okay, and if we can incorporate the technique piece we talked about, great. If we can't, that's fine.
Right.
Let's just see if we can get that speed number up. Okay, so let's be reckless. Big step and big sling. Okay, good. A little heely, but
Little heely.
but functional. So that's we got a 101.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So that's nice. So we got up
There's
a couple.
3 for free.
Yeah, there you go. 3 for free. So let's see. Now, we're going to hit this in a moment. Stand in here for a second, just
Okay.
off to the side. Good. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Good. So give me a big step and a big sling. I'll move out of the way. Trust me. Go. Good. Okay, try again. Good. One more. Okay. That
Excellent.
sounded nice.
That was good.
Could you feel?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm looking for width here. I want a big swing circle that's generated. You know, the club is going to whip into this condition.
Yeah, I feel like I have to turn more to,
You
to
do.
obviously make it. You know, everything for the longest time has been
A little bit
tight
tight,
and close.
elbows
Yeah.
close. Yeah, I want to. You know, I'm trying to create a longer trail arm. You know, way up to about shoulder high.
right. Okay.
You know, rather than this early fold.
Tight. Yeah.
Right, like, let's be wide.
Okay.
It'll fold. It'll fold a little later now that it's coming out of a whip. Okay.
Okay.
So show me that step, that real push into the right foot. Sling it back with some speed. Be reckless. Let's just go for a big number.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a good looking ball.
Nice,
Mikey.
nice, nice. So 102.
Too, yeah.
So we just keep doing this. You'll be at 120 in no time.
Right,
Right?
so ball speed number was 139, first
Yeah.
ball. That was 148.
148. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you've given Mikey 4 miles an hour club head speed. We know that we get 1.5 mile an hour ball speed for every one of the club head speed we get. You've got 6 for free. You became more efficient with it by having the thought of keeping the wrists down, keeping the handle down.
Yeah.
Right, so now your efficiencies went way up because you're managing your dynamic loft so much better relative to your angle attack.
Yeah.
You've just gained yourself 20 yards on the fly. Your first ball was 221. That was 242 on the fly.
Yeah.
That's
no,
awesome.
I mean, and that's and again,
that's still being a little low heeler
And that's
as well, right?
still having a
not
touch
getting
of heel
through
in there.
full.
So your spin's 1,000 more than we wanted. The launch is good, but you've got another 10, 12 from that spin to come down.
Easily.
When you start flying the ball 255, 260, game's going to feel a heck of a lot easier for you.
Yeah, because now par fives are in play, shorter irons in the greens, and I think that like every good practice session, and this is when Andrew Rice and I used to coach together, we break things into three things. There's a technique component. Okay, there's I call it 3 T's, he calls it 3 S's, but I call it technique, trickery, and then test. Right, and so technique, you're working on maybe how this club exits, and for a driver, for irons, it's going to be flighting. I want to work on that stinger with you, maybe in the next segment.
Absolutely.
But for a driver, a lot of it is just, let's just smash it, man. If you got half an hour, 10 minutes of technique, 10 minutes of smashing, and then 10 minutes of a test. And the test is, okay, I've got a flag out there and a boundary over there. I'm not going to leave this range. I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to hit 10 balls, which, a minute a ball is not bad, sort of between these two boundaries. And if I can't, I stay until I get 10.
Right.
So always have something on it to where you're like, oh, good, I did it, I'm done.
Totally,
Right?
I
So
like
there's
that.
technique, trickery, and with irons, it could be low, high, hooks, and drivers too. But driver, most guys have their one stock little bleeder, and that's what they hit on every hole now. And the creativity is more within the irons and how you flight the iron shot. So that was quite good.
Totally, no, it's exciting.
So you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like if I had 2 bathroom scales and I'm standing on them, I weigh 180, so I've got 90, okay? So as I stand here, my bathroom scale under my left foot's gonna get a little bump in it so that I can really make this one bump hard.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So it's like my bathroom scales, and if you have 2 bathroom scales at home, you don't have a fancy pressure mat like most teachers do nowadays, you can just make sure you don't slip out on tile. A friend of mine did that. It's kind of funny, actually. He was okay. But if you're on carpet, you can get on those scales and you can watch those needles pop. And so you kind of want a little bit of a needle pop into your left side so that you can make it really pop in your right side as you create this stretch cycle of your backswing. And that's all we did with him. And the more you do it, the more you're going to feel like it's something comfortable for you and not crazy.
Totally.
Right? Because I think we grew up the same way, like smashing it. We feel like, oh man, I just want to kind of hit it and play. And there's no reason why those longer ones didn't go and play, because they did.
Yeah, no, I mean, the strikes sounded better, even though they're still a bit heely. I still like that feel that you're trying to get hands lower and kind of brush the grass. I mean, I will definitely be going to the range.
And so your primer. So if I steal this, you'd have a ball ready to go, and if it's your, if you're waiting for somebody to hit, you could stand in here and just make this little move, feeling like in a month and a half, and you've seen drivers where the black has been worn off. I heckle my students for that, but in your case, since I want a better angle in between your lead arm and shaft, I would love for you to kind of feel that. That little motion around your left thigh, rather than something that you don't come over the top, but you get a little bit of out to in because of the ulnar deviation. Makes sense?
Yeah, and having access to technology, seeing out to in the last couple weeks, because it's been frustrating. Trying to get super inside.
But it's not this out to in.
It's not that out to in.
It's decent, and then it just goes zoop.
Yeah.
So out to in happens with you just as a wrist response,
Totally.
not as a big, you were not fixing some gross motion from up here like we see with higher handicappers. Or you're a good player, you're a 2 handicapper. We're just looking at something that gives you a fade bias from a wrist condition issue.
Interesting. Really cool. Appreciate it.
All right.
Guys,
no worries.
This is we've done 1,100 videos on the channel now. I can honestly say this has turned out to be one of the most enjoyable days of filming we've ever done, because I think there's so much good stuff coming out of this, because it's truly organic teaching on the lesson tee, and it's, we're starting off with one objective, one's to get speed, but how you've went about that with Mikey is awesome. So you've made what he had the most efficient it could be. Let's bump up all those metrics, then let's give him the speed, and then we get the double bump from that, right? It's not just here's a bunch of speed, but you're kind of mishitting it. So when you get it back together, it will start going further, I promise.
Well, no, I got lucky. I just had a lucky coaching moment.
You've had a few of those in your day. Guys, this is a huge treat for us. Hopefully you feel the same. You're taking great value from it. That's the way I feel about this sort of mini series that we're creating with Martin. There's so much value for you guys in there. So more to come. We'll see you again soon.